Okay, this plane's a bit beat up, but it's not my fault in this case. I bought it used and it was kind of beat up when I got it. It's the Dynam Grand Cruiser, which is a bit of an oddity because there is actually no real plane called a Grand Cruiser. That's what I think. That's a de Havilland, like a Q4 turboprop, I think, isn't it? Probably. Anyway, there is no real plane called a Grand Cruiser. I think basically what it is essentially it's like a Cessna 310K or later. It has to be a K model or later because they only put three-bladed propellers on the Cessna 310 from the K onwards. The early Cessna 310s, I think it's, assuming I'm getting the model number right, I think it's the 310. Had two-bladed propellers. Anyway, but I'm assuming the point is it's not licensed. They didn't pay Cessna a license fee, so it's sort of based approximately on the Cessna. I think it's definitely a Cessna. I think it's the 310. But that's not actually called a Grand Cruiser. Anyway, I bought it at a swap meet. It was flyable, but kind of beat up when I got it. I've got the drone view camera on it. Taped rather crudely to the wing. I'd like to put the drone view camera inside so you got a view from the compartment, but there doesn't seem to be any simple way of getting into that top part of the compartment. It's kind of decorative, and the way the thing's assembled, I can't see any easy way you'd ever get in there. And I didn't want to take the plane all apart, so I resorted to just taping the drone view to the side. So we're going to try at some point and do a little two-cam flight with the drone view if we can. You'll see evidence of what I'm talking about it being beat up here. There's various damage to the sort of lower parts and whatever. However, there we go. So I'm going to put a 2200, whoops, 3-cell in there. Try and get this battery door closed. Again, that's also obviously been damaged and repaired a bit, but I don't think... We sincerely hope that's not going to come open. It was supposed to hold shut my latches, but they're obviously not working anymore. Yes, well, I think we'd better put these rubber bands, I guess that's why I put these on. I don't think they came with it. But we better put these rubber bands over that battery compartment, hadn't we? Because it does not look particularly trustworthy. Does it? I would not trust that battery compartment not to come open in flight. But I don't think it'll come open now we put a stout rubber band around it. Okay. So we've got some lights. There's supposed to be a light on the tail as well. For some reason that one's not connected and I can't be bothered to take it apart and try and connect it, and who knows, it probably doesn't work anyway. Okay, so we got ailerons, we got elevator, we got rudder. I've flown this before. This is not a maiden or anything. I've flown this a few times. Not a massive amount, I have to admit. But anyway, so now let's try and start the drone view camera from the Wi-Fi. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so that says it's recording now. We live in hopes. It does, yes, and it's the servos are grumbling a bit. Okay, still next to no wind. We'll try and see what we can do. This was the early version, the early Dynam version of it. They made a later version that had flaps and retracts. This does not, was never made to have flaps and retracts. It's a fixed nose wheel undercarriage, tricycle undercarriage with a nose wheel, and it does not have flaps, and there wouldn't be any easy way of putting flaps on this version, I don't think. But they sold a version, in fact they may still sell it. You may still be able to get the Dynam Grand Cruiser, and the later versions had flaps and retracts. I think they were the same basic body, as the same size and things. Do those motors contra-rotate? Yes, they do. Yes, those are contra-rotating motors, apparently. So you would better make sure you got the right one on the right side, or whatever, the right propeller. Again, not going to be so easy to replace the propellers then if you had to, because you're talking about, you know, 3-bladed propellers and one of them's backwards. It's for turning the opposite direction. Although I think Dynam sell parts generally. Let's see if we can take him off then. Famous. Oh, no. Oh, terrific. The left motor doesn't seem to be working. Well, if that's happening, if that's true, then we're dead in the water. Yeah. Now he's spinning up, but that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. None of these swap meet acquisitions. Yeah, the left motor was not turning there. Well, it was turning a bit, but it wasn't turning properly. Not a good sign. My eyesight is not as good as it should be. I have to go to the opticians and see if a change in prescription would help, because it would be really nice if I had better eyesight for distance. I mean, for flying, you know, being able to see the plane clearly and know what it's doing is really a big help. And I struggle. Well, you know, though, I mean, I gather a lot of people do. But for small planes, silhouetted against the sky, they get a little way away from me, and it gets kind of hard to see what's going on with them. I'm worried about this guy now, as I say. I don't really trust the motors. And he doesn't seem to have much power at the best of times. I mean, I think both motors are running okay at the moment, but I don't have a sense that we've got much power there. You know, and especially with 2 motors, you'd think you'd have a bit more power. And it's not a very heavy plane either. It's not enormously large or very heavy. So you'd think you'd get a sense of a bit more power with the 2 motors running. Should we try and loop him? I guess we should. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get him a little higher before we try.
6 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, looping him over the trees when he's not particularly high in the first place is perhaps not that great an idea. And he doesn't seem to have much power. Now, of course, this is always swings and roundabouts as well. You gain height, so you've got more room in case things go wrong. But, of course, when you gain height, you can't see it so well because it's further up. Okay. Okay, clearly not an aerobatic plane. He can barely stagger through a loop. Come back here. Yes. Whoa. Power cut out.
Throttle cut on.
Well, that didn't look optimistic, did it? No, well, we knew we had dangers there. Well. That's sad. Who knows whether that will ever fly again, because, well, you don't know how much damage there is, but even if the, even if the damage is repairable, it wasn't working right anyway. I don't know what was happening. The power just cut out there. It just, I had nothing there. Unfortunately, I do wear rubber boots for these mornings, but still. The power just went. Oops. Yes, well, that's one thing to worry about, is the camera. Well, at least we didn't lose the camera. Okay, so we'll stop the video on the camera, or try to. Famous last words. Oh. Huh. I don't know. I know the camera's damaged. I'm having trouble getting the camera to stop. Maybe because it's wet or something, I don't know. Oh well, the camera doesn't, he's really embedded himself in the grass here. I think we just lost, I don't know, lost power to the motor and whatever. I'm just looking to see if there's any other parts, because it's always a bit of a bugger to find things if they've come off and they're there. Well, there's a piece of tape there, I suppose. If I had to come back and look for something, the tape would sort of tell me where it is. Humph. Well, that was not entirely surprising, because I had seen there seemed to be some problem with that right motor before takeoff. You know, quite likely this was why whoever sold it at the swap meet sold it, because it was having problems. Although they said it flew, and it did fly. I've flown it before, it flew. But, you know, it flew a bit. Doesn't seem to be too much damage to the airframe. Well, a bit of the nose. The nose is a bit scrunched, but we went in fairly slowly there and into the long grass. But, you know, I mean, there's not much point flying it again unless if it's just going to do the same thing again. We'll have to see. I can't seem to get this camera to stop recording. I don't know what's going on. One thing and another. I assume that left motor cut out. I don't really know, but I know I was just coming round there, and then suddenly I basically had no real control. Bits. Okay. Well, will it obey this? Yes, I don't know. Maybe when it's obeying, maybe when it's being controlled by the Wi-Fi, it ignores the buttons. I don't know. Because it seems to have stopped recording now. I pressed the Wi-Fi button, but it wouldn't stop recording when I pressed the actual stop-start button on the camera. And the odd thing is, I thought this motor had probably stopped working, but it seems to have lots of grass around it, which would imply it was still turning. I don't know. I mean, why would it, if this motor had stopped turning, you wouldn't have thought it would have got all this grass wrapped around it. Hum.
Throttle cut off.
Well, I don't blither in now. Both motors seem to be turning now. I don't honestly know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that. It certainly exploded the camera right off it. Oh, it's torn the wing as well, I see. It's torn the left wing almost off the body there, well, apart there anyway. Oh well, you know, what can you do?
Throttle cut on.
Oh, the windshield's coming off too. But we don't think we lost any bits. Not that I can see, because if we lost any bits now is the time, shortly now is the time to go back and look for them. But no, I don't think we lost any bits. But whether we're going to fly it again, I don't know, because, I mean, you obviously can't have much faith in it, because it just cut out there. I just had no power there as I came round that corner. Nothing. I was coming round and it just cut out on me. It was a bit hard to tell exactly what was happening, to be honest, because I certainly couldn't seem to make it turn up, but you know, I don't know what had cut out, quite honestly, whether all control had cut out or it was just one motor cut out or what. I don't know. It might even be, looking at the video might even help me to tell that, but I don't know. I know that it wasn't responding to me in any useful way, but exactly what was happening, I don't know. Anyway, that was so we only had him up for a couple of minutes, yes, and he's got a badly torn left wing. That can be repaired. I mean, that can be glued, but if we don't know why he's doing that, flying him again might be a bit on the futile side. Oh, so the windshield's falling off as well. It's only held on by a little bit on the side there. Oh well, we shall have to see. I don't know how many times I've flown him before, 2 or 3, and he flew sort of okay. Well, he certainly didn't do that. He went up and he landed and whatever. Anyway, we shall see.